Alright, so Bernie Sanders is coming out with a semi-nonsensical tweet. Now, the same question is asked about different topics, so I'll just focus on the healthcare topic for this. He asks, are you free if healthcare is unaffordable? Now, that's actually a valid question, but the answer can only be found if you examine why it's unaffordable. That matters a lot. Quick example, am I free if I can't afford some pill because the ingredients are extraordinarily rare and it's extremely difficult to produce this pill? It requires massive amounts of time, energy, manpower, research, resources, money to create one pill because of the very nature of its manufacturing processes. Am I free? Well, in one sense you could say you're not free because you're not free from reality and the laws of nature. But what if there was another pill that was extremely expensive, yet it was simple and cheap to manufacture in bulk? But it was expensive not because of the nature of how it must be created, but because just a few thousand people in Washington, D.C. imposed massive regulations, massive taxes, gave out government-granted monopolies on licensing that diminished the supply of healthcare workers, imposed substantial rules on insurance plans that forced them to cover everything from stub toes to paper cuts, forbade competition between health insurance companies across state lines, turning each state into little oligopolies so the citizens of those states are forced to deal with a small number of entrenched companies who are protected by government. Now that would be a scenario where you wouldn't be free, where the reality of what that pill should cost is obscured directly because of a few human beings with a disgusting amount of power, and they're able to dole out favors, mandate absurd compliance, and distort the market with the stroke of a pen. In that situation, which is the situation we find ourselves in the United States, I'd say we're not free when it comes to healthcare. But Sanders obviously does not make that distinction at all, which is completely disingenuous. But what Sanders is getting at here is that you are not free unless everything is available and free. But this doesn't hold up under scrutiny. If I am unable to afford an MRI, does that make me not free? Let's grant his assumption that I'm not free because I can't afford an MRI. Does that mean that before MRIs were around, no one could have been free because MRI machines didn't exist and were completely unavailable to people? Of course not. If I get some horrible disease we have no cure for yet, am I not free because treatment doesn't exist? In the political sense, yes, I could still be free, but in the sense of reality and being and the laws of nature, no, I'm still bound by them, and you should be very weary of politicians acting as if they're divine beings that can unshackle you from the woes of reality. That's never ended well, and the best they can do is keep you warm from a fire in the engine room as the ship is sinking. That's all they can offer. But oddly enough, there is actually something Bernie Sanders could do as a senator to ease the unaffordability of healthcare. If he could just come to the realization that the massive government intrusion into the healthcare marketplace is the common denominator for all these obscene prices we find, he could work to get government the hell out of it and improve the situation. Treat healthcare how LASIK surgery is treated. LASIK surgery involves extremely sophisticated technology, highly skilled professionals, and it's a massive increase in the quality of life for those who need it. It should be one of those bank-busting procedures that drains people's wallets, but it's not. And LASIK surgery just so happens to be one of those things that doesn't fall victim to the government-defiled health insurance scheme we have in the US. Consumers shop around, it's more of a market-oriented procedure, it's a lot more reminiscent of actual free market capitalism, and the prices haven't skyrocketed like everything else the government runs in healthcare. So could I have been free before LASIK surgery existed? Outside of the laws of nature? Sure. Would I have been free if LASIK surgery was developed and then government distorts the market to make the prices skyrocket? No, that would not have been the mark of a free society or a free people. That's a very important distinction that is lost on Bernie Sanders and his supporters. But that's all for now. Like, subscribe, and share this video, and take it easy.